All right. So, welcome everybody. We are going to be talking about the X pattern. We're going to be talking about how I'm going to be doubling an account, attempting to double an account, we should say, in 2026. We're here at the beginning part of 2026. Really excited. Really excited with what's going to be coming up this year. The markets are booming. The markets are booming, and there's a lot of things happening. Let me make sure my it's good here, so you guys can see. You guys can't see this screen correctly. Everything is good to go. Slides are moving. Everything is good. Can someone just throw in the chat real quick? Uh, if you can, everything is good to go behind me. Everything looks good. Just a quick little yes would be yes. Gene says yes. Mark says yes. John says yes. Okay, so everything looks good. Hopefully, I'm not like cut off and look like a half little, little robot or something. But we're going to be talking about the X pattern. I kind of cut a lot of kind of just really dialed it in today, and really just I want to focus on the X pattern and how I'm trading it this year. So let's go dive in. Let's get started. So right now, it's near impossible to time these markets. It's very difficult. And when there is chop, there is a 5-star pattern that I rely on the most. I call this the X pattern. So you see this right there. You see these two lines converging. It's going to be 2 points converging into one. That is what the X pattern is. That is what I'm trading. And if you stick around, I'm actually going to show you a ticker. This is a real ticker. So this is a live X pattern trade right here coming in that I think is going to, and I haven't even posted this to the members yet because I only post whenever there's actually a trade coming in. But this is looking promising. This is looking good. This is what you would call an X pattern. This is what is going to be possibly a really strong move to the upside or to the downside. We have a lot of things above it and below it. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm going to share that ticker. I'm going to share kind of where I think would be the best possible place to get in, and then obviously if you join me, you'll be actually be able to get my exact trade. So here's what the X pattern is. It happens when two intersecting trend lines hit. I love trend lines. Everything about them are they're just so strong, and you really get a good grasp of the markets when you're using them. So the exact moment big money reveals a trail. This is one of the core 5-star signals of the 2026 indicator income challenge that I'm doing. So the X pattern is a structure-based setup that forms when price compresses between opposing forces and prepares for a directional move. It shows up when 3 different conditions are present at the time. So number 1 is a trend context. There's got to be a trend. There's got to be some kind of trend to this thing. The next is it got to compress into something. So it got to compress into a structure. So just think about it. So there needs to be some kind of trend. There needs to be a compression, and then there got to be some kind of momentum confirmation. So right now on the chart that I'm going to show you here at the end of the presentation, at the end of today, I will show you where it's at, but I believe that it's in the number 2 stage, which is the compression. So right now it has compressed. It has not triggered that last momentum confirmation. Once it does that, that's when I'll take the trade. So how do you trade this? What is the X pattern and how do you trade it? So number 1 is I wait for the pattern to fully form. It has to fully form. It has to fully digest into what is coming into the X pattern. And it can go right before it. It can go right after it. But it has to fully form into that. It can't be just, you can't just see it, break out, buku's candles ago. I don't even know if buku's word, but it needs to be very close to that X pattern within a couple candles, whatever time frame you're on. I like to do the 4-hour and the daily. Sometimes I'll even drop down to the hourly, but those higher time frames, it needs to compress. So I don't anticipate the breakout. I trade the break, not the middle of it. And so stops are placed on the opposite side of the structure, and the targets are based on the next clean area of the price. not an arbitrary risk, multiples or anything like that. So does that make sense, everybody? Hopefully that is, kind of the basics of it. Is we get a convergence, we get a point where price got to go one way or another. And once it does that, once it's there, we need just one other thing, which is momentum. We need momentum and volume. I guess I should say volume as well, because I do watch volume. And once we get momentum and volume in one clean direction, we go ahead and take that trade. So that's the X pattern. That's how I trade it. And I'm gonna actually show you here exactly how you can follow my trades step like from start to finish this year. And so let's go ahead. Let's see where the next one will be here. So let me show you some examples of the X pattern. And I'm actually going to show you some examples. So here is one. Here is one that I really liked. And this is, so here's the X pattern. I can actually draw on this. Sweet. So this was the X pattern right here. So notice how the candle breakout initially was just, there was only about what, 1, 2, 3. We only had about what, 4 more candles. This is on the daily chart before we actually hit our X pattern, before we actually started that. So this is reasonable. If it's all the way out here, it's all the way out here. And honestly, we haven't really, it wasn't really even available right here, because this was our higher high. So this is where our trend line was drawn. So really it would have been this one. And that was still kind of far out from the X pattern, because we actually had, and I should have actually drawn it over here too. There was a nice, there's an overall trend coming up in this. So basically this is what we want to see. And my indicator actually pointed that as well. So we want to see it very close to the X pattern, and we want to see a big, strong momentum candle break out and close. And you see what I'm seeing? This is the candle that you want to see. And sometimes it will break out, maybe pull back a titch before going up. This was insanely strong. This was on gold. This was an insanely strong breakout. And so this is kind of what you're looking for. This is kind of what you're looking for whenever you're doing the X pattern. Okay. So that's on gold. Here's another one on SoFi. And let's go ahead and draw the same thing here. So so this was the X pattern. Let me get my little drawing tool here. So this was the X pattern right there. Notice how the candles were very close. Now, I would have liked to honestly even see it converge a little bit more, but it broke out. It broke out right before, and this wasn't, they're going to look different than and they're not going to look the same every time. But notice even when it broke out here, we had an even a nice, we had a decently strong momentum candle right there. Honestly, the biggest momentum candle of this whole scenario would have been right there, but this was a nice breakout. So this was a nice breakout. Again, they're not going to be, they're not the, I don't want to say they're not the easiest thing to spot, but you have to know what you're looking for. And I noticed this one because we had our trend line. We actually had a breakout right here, but we still had a lot of room before these trend lines converge. And this is another, I should have actually shared that this trend line goes all the way down to another key area. But needless to say, this was a really nice, this would have been a buy example. And honestly, to me, I would have probably waited for this stronger bull. Basically, I want to see momentum, and this probably had a lot of volume as well. I should have actually shared that, but there was probably a decent amount of volume. What's cool about these candles, I've actually been using these as well. These are volume candles. They get a little bit thicker once there's more volume in it, which is a cool little side note there to this. But nonetheless, that is what you would be looking for. Again, the same scenario here. This is ETHA, and this is actually one that we are. Well, this was before. This isn't actually a live chart. This is kind of just an example I wanted to share. So here's the two converging. So I finally got an example where we actually have two trend lines. So we actually, higher highs, lower lows, boom, boom. You draw those. The X pattern right there. Look at what happens. Look at this little key area. And then what do you guys notice? Here's a nice, strong momentum candle. Nice, strong momentum candle that we got right there. And then sure enough, just straight up from there. This is even another nice momentum. See all these big, strong momentum candles. That's a lot of volume coming in. And that's exactly what you're going to want to be looking for whenever you are taking some of these trades. Okay. So that is another key example. That is another example of this in action. And so what are these? So what am I doing with these trades? Well, I am categorizing them as a 5-star trade. So I funnel what I'm doing, and this is just think about this as, and we can even put it up here. We can even put it up here as let's just put X pattern, right? X pattern. So this is this another. This is just one. So I'm talking about one trade out of 4 different types of trade that I like. And honestly, these could be categorized. X pattern could be categorized as a trend trade, a structure trade, a momentum trade. But I think it maybe I could have it as its own little island there because it's such a cool little trade once you start taking some of them. And it's one that I'll be trading a lot this year in 2026. So it's part of my 5-star trades. And so with trend, structure, momentum, align, I go ahead and take that trade. Notice right here again the X pattern, and this is a little bit before it, but still a strong momentum candle. That this is actually more of a convergence. This is more of a convergence and then a beautiful breakout. But nonetheless, I mean, this is still another categorized as an X pattern. All right, so stock. So what are we trading here? So stocks, options, debit spreads. Doesn't matter. The instrument changes. The standard does not. So why alignment matters right now. So in slower markets, you can get away with loose entries, but in fast reaction driven markets like we're in right now, you can't really do that. So there ain't going to be no 4 setup. I'm only going to be doing 5-star trades. So if you guys don't know me, my name is Ben Lozier, and for 2026, I'm trading a little bit differently than I've ever did before. I'm funneling all of my trades systems I use into one standard. So when trend, structure, momentum, like I said, align, I take the trade. If it doesn't meet that standard, I go ahead and pass it. So I call these trades the 5-star trade. So who here wants to only trade with a 5-star trade? Give me a little show of hands here. Say yes. Say I only want to be taking. So you don't want to be taking trades that maybe have a little bit of momentum, but you're just not really sure. No, who wants to trade actual 5-star trades? Yes, well, we got a bunch of yes in chat. You guys want to trade these 5-star trades. Why? Because they're going to be the ones that have the most power, right? The most structure and the most momentum. And so that is what I'm going to be doing this year inside this challenge that I call the 5-star challenge. So over time, my trading has moved into one clear direction. A 5-star trade is what happens when everything I use points to one single way. Support resistance are in the right place. Trend is already established, and the momentum confirms the move. So this is what a 5-star trade is. That's the only thing that's left is a nice, quick, and easy 5-star trade. So let's go ahead and dive into some trades in 2026. It's a real live example of Chainlink. So 3 independent systems, right? I went long, so check out all of this convergence, right? And there was actually this was actually more of a really solid X pattern trade. So this was actually there was actually a bottom trend line right here, one up here. Broke out, big strong momentum candle. Notice the big strong momentum candle, kind of small there. Hopefully you guys can see that. So I went ahead and went long right there, and that fitted all my criteria to take that trade. All right, let's go to the next one. So this was a great entry, and it ended up closing out for a quick. So this overall 11%. So look at that nice big volume trick candle, and ended up closing out all the way up there for 11%. So trades are filtered this way. Your decisions get easier. You're not managing 10 ideas all at once. You're not watching every single candle. Another 5-star trade, different market. And this one is a silver trade. So let's look at another one. So trend line was already established, and it came in textbook trend line bounce signal. So here we go. This would have been inside a trend line. So this isn't exactly this isn't exactly an X pattern trade. This is a going into a trend line, pull back, and then take the momentum trade. So this was the momentum trade. We got in here, we got out there, quick little 48% option. Beautiful trade on SLV. Same process, different market. The trend is already established. Price is riding the line the way it should. And that wasn't a long hold. It didn't need to be. When you trade only aligned setups, speed becomes an advantage and you don't need to predict it. You don't need to sit through a bunch of chop and you don't even need to wait for alignment, take the trade, and then you just got to manage it. So this is another one on SoFi, January 6th. Check this out. So this went right into this trend line. Beautiful, beautiful setup. And I didn't care. It was a big sell off. I really didn't care. It came right into my trend line. And ended up buying this in, and a quick little it shot up real quick. So what a beautiful textbook trade. This is a inside the triangle trade. And this is just another setup that I like to take that I will be doing inside the challenge. So there was earning concern, there was guidance, there was downgrades, it was all this stuff. But after the drop, things started to change and selling pressure slowed. Support began to form and price stopped making new lows. And that's when the setup started to matter the most. This is where my X pattern showed up. So you see that right there. This was right at the tippity end, right at the tip of the X pattern. It's beautiful, beautiful setup. Downward pressure formed, prior trend, and rise support coming in underneath, and price compressed into a clear decision zone, something that I would have been very interested in buying. And in fact, I did buy. So I didn't buy the news. I didn't buy the panic. I stepped in after the reaction once structure and momentum aligned. 5-star trades are built around reaction and we're not focused on just headlines. So when a setup earns a 5-star status, here's what I'm going to do. I post it. So I post it live in one place. You see the trades as I'm taking it and not after the move is over. There is a stream of raw alerts running in the background, or there is no stream. There's 1,000 signals that you're getting. I don't forward scanner noise unless if it matters. I post ideas that still, I don't post ideas that still need debating. If a trade shows up, if 5-star trade shows up, it's one of the ones that I'm watching, an X pattern or a momentum trade or a trend line trade. It already passed my funnel. And so that's intentional because the whole point of 5-star trades is focus. You don't need to watch everything. And again, you saw it on crypto, or metals and equities and stocks. Some weeks are active and some are a little more quiet. So over the course of a full year, alignment shows up far more often than most people expect. And that also means you're not locked into one system. So you're going to be using systems. I'm going to be using systems that are breakouts, X patterns, momentums, reversals, right? Trend continuation. Today, I really just kind of focus on the X pattern, but we got all of these combined into one central funnel and all filtered through the same process. So 2026, I refuse to force trades. Not going to do it. And it's about being ready when the market offers them. So what you start to notice when you follow this is once you watch these trades come together, a few things start to click, and you'll see how often that I don't trade. And you'll see setups getting close and then getting passed on. And you'll see why patience ends up doing more work than activity. So again, I'll be sharing basically the whole thing. Hey, I trimmed some of these. This is where my pattern is. I like this trade. This is what I'm going to get. I'm going to buy 25 shares of this. And so when I take profits, this is a nice little profits taken. And then when I'm done and I say, hey, this isn't fitting my criteria anymore. Let's cut this trade and let's move on to the next one. So why did I create this challenge? Well, let me give you a little context. Before this challenge, I ran a smaller account experiment last year. So I started around 2K and then I left the account and I traded it using the same standards, X pattern, trends, and that account actually doubled. Right. So hit a couple really solid trades, AMD and SoFi, Gold and Apple. There's a few others. And so we really did well. And I wanted to step up this year. So I moved it to 5K account. So the same funnel, standards, patience. And so right now we're actually up really nicely on the account. And for 2026, the goal is simple. I'm working on that 5K account we're going to be doubling it. That's the attempt. That's the goal. We're going to be doubling that account. And right now we're making some really, really solid progress. And so that's exactly why I created this challenge. But let you see how this process actually plays out over time. I let the trades, well, I let them come to me. Moment does confirm, I wait. If price hesitates, I wait. Only when all of that agrees does the trade make it through. So that's the whole 5-star standard. And we're going to be doing stocks, options, debits, same days, nothing qualifies. And so other days, multiple things, will line up. So this is my support resistance. We have a ton of, if a bunch of crypto lines up or a bunch of stock trades lines up, I go ahead and take those. And so I just control whether I respect the standard, and that's the process you'll be watching inside the challenge. Not gonna be doing any kind of cherry pick stuff, but the real decisions that happen between the trades. So the market you're trading in right now is not one from a few years ago. There's a lot of policy rate cuts. One single headline could just tank this market, or one single headline can make it just go exponentially up, right? So, and that's the kind of environment we're trading in, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. You're seeing it in stocks, metals, crypto. You're seeing it in everything. Big moves are happening, but they're often reaction moves first and then structure second. So I'm waiting for price to react, settle, and then that's where our 5-star trades come in. That's where our X pattern comes in. That's how we're actually taking some of these trades. So when markets are calm, you can get away with loose entries. When markets are fast and reactive, you cannot meridiate that. You cannot. And so filtering, it's really not an option anymore. So it's how you stay ahead. And that's why I built this challenge. So this isn't a course. This isn't another alert service. This is another bundle of beautiful. Look at all these beautiful these systems. But I'm going to be using those systems, and then I'll literally just be sharing those 5-star trades to you guys. So this is a live. This is a live trading environment built around one single standard. Inside the challenge, I'm trading a 5K account in real time. And again, the goal is simple: to double that thing. No side systems or experimental or no exceptions. We literally got them all filtered into one specific way to trade. Every trade I take follows the same exact funnel that I shared with you. And if it earns a 5-star status, boom, I'll share with you. So, new position, or I want to nibble here on calls here. Let's do this. Or I closed that, I closed this put, I closed that call. I entered this debit spread, or I closed this debit spread. If it follows, once it follows the actual system and trades, that's when we go ahead and get out. So if it doesn't, I get a pass. It gets a pass, and that's it. That's essentially all it is. It's just one singular trade feed. Very simple. Made it as simple as I could, and so that's what you get inside. So everybody ready? Everybody ready to see exactly what you're going to be getting here? I kind of basically shared most of it there, but I have a couple things that I want you to see here. So we have the feed, right? This is the heart of the challenge. Like I said, I'm going to be doing stocks, options, debit spreads, and then even cryptos. We do a lot of variety in there, but they all follow the same system. One trade feed, no extra rooms, no background noise. If it shows up, it already passed my full funnel. Then I got the challenge, the 5K to 10K challenge, and I'll work it towards 10K. And that's going to be the goal for this year. And you'll see the pacing, restraint, and nothing is hidden. I'll literally be sharing the whole entire thing. Then I actually just did a breakdown this morning, and I'll be sharing that breakdown with members every single morning, or at least whenever it's warranted. And so why these trades qualify, risk logic, and context. Again, I'll be doing some live Q&A. So if you guys are like, hey, hey, why didn't this pattern meet your criteria, but others did? Well, I'll be walking through that. I'll do live Q&As, and I'll talk through the recent trades and decisions. And so there really ain't going to be those scripts or slides or this or that. It really will just be very clean, concise, and direct to you guys. And so at this point, everything makes sense, right? Hopefully it makes sense. And then, excuse me, they're also, I wasn't planning on doing this. I wasn't originally. I just wanted you guys to join the 5-star challenge. But the more I thought about it, the more I felt compelled not to show you what's happening behind the scenes. So I decided that, or to show you what's going on behind the scenes. So I decided I'm going to add something. So not change the challenge, not complicate it, but just to give you some more visibility. So what I did is I threw in this scanner this right here. But I threw in this scanner, and it's going to be a lifetime membership to this as well. It is basically where support and resistance, if there is a major support resistance broken, right? Their major support resistance broken, which is one of the key criteria that I look at inside the challenge. You actually get this scanner, all of them that I'm watching. So my kind of my hot list, and look, they look like that. Just a simple signal, entry, stop loss, take profit, things like that. Maps out key levels where price actually reacts. And so you'll see how structure forms, why certain levels matter, and how price behaves when it gets there. So this is the framework that I rely on when I'm evaluating trades. And so another one is the Terraline, and not only a handful of people actually even know this exists, right? This is the Terraline Prime Trade Alerts, and what this is it'll signal on a trend line break or a bounce, and then you even get resistance and support, which is really cool. And so basically, what happens here is there'll be one level of, say the price is going up, right? And there's resistance up here. You'll get your first. I should just do this like this, right? So say there's resistance, right? There's 3 points of resistance. So this will be 1, this will be 2, and this will be 3. And so essentially you'll get 2 areas of resistance, and then, or 3 areas if they're there, and then you also see support as well. So see, notice how this one, what I like to see about this is, if there's a higher percentage of resistance, that just means that there's a lot more potential move to the upside if it's obviously a buy trade. And then if you see smaller percentages down there, that means, maybe that's a good RR. Maybe that's one to try to get into. But again, this is my scanner. I love these scanners. And that's one that I wanted to give you guys these scanners because I think it's important for this challenge. And so it's one of the main tools I use to stay aligned with the bigger picture. In fact, I just actually had a scanner go off right now. So let me be clear about something. These are not required to follow the 5-star challenge. You don't need to trade them. You don't need to just watch them and say, okay, I have to take every single trade the scanner does. No, the scanners are for me and basically for anybody who loves trading scanners. But I kind of just wanted to just give you those to kind of for you to actually see, okay, well, this is the one that you plucked and this is the one you pointed out as part of the challenge. So they're there so you can actually learn by observing. You'll start to see why certain trades make it through the funnel and why others don't. So I'm including these because, well, they're just genuinely good. And they're 2 of the scanners that I rely on and trust the most. So, and that's it. They're just a bonus. They're not the core offer. The challenge still stands as 5-star trades. This is a direct access to how I actually trade day in and day out. I've been around this industry long enough. And so I know, this is going to be this is probably a $5,000 offer. I'm not even joking when I say that. I've seen them. I've been there and I've seen 2,000, 20,000, 30,000, right? Obviously, I will never charge anything like that. Not even close to something like this, especially because I want as many folks jump in there and trade with me as possible. So we're positioning our account at $5,000. We're starting that at $5,000, and that's just this is what I'm going to be doing. So this is everything you're getting, right? If you join today, you're going to be getting the feed, the challenge, the breakdown, Q&A, and then the awesome bonuses. And so the conservative value is $5K, but this is pretty cool. So I need $417 a month to double this account. So that's the whole goal. Let me be clear about this. This is the math behind this. I'm trading a $5K account, but you don't have to actually start there. You can actually start as little as $100. It'll be a little bit difficult to maybe trade some of the options trades or things like that. But if start getting in shares and stuff, or just kind of just joining it and kind of learning from it, you can start very small. But for me, this means the entire goal is I need $417 per month to double this account. That's it. That's not even a lot. That doesn't seem like a lot when you break it down like that. No, so not every week, not every day. A lot of the times you'll get in a mindset where it's like, I need to make this all year long, right? Or not year long, in one day, right? I need double in one day, and it's just not feasible. If you do that, you're going to blow it. You'll literally blow an account in one day. I've seen so many people do it, and that's why I want you guys to commit to this, and that's why I created this challenge. So if you zoom out, that's what doubles the account over a year. And this is where things line up clearly. So here's what I'm going to do. Instead of charging $1,997 for something like this, and aim to charge $997, it won't be $797 or not even a classic $497, because that would be a really solid price for this. Since I only need 1 month to do this, we're gonna price it at $417 one time. That's it. That's it forever. And you will be getting this challenge for this year. You'll be getting this challenge for any other remaining year. So what I actually decided to do as well. So if you want to join, I actually just dropped the link, or go to, I should actually get out of the way, but Find Better Trades, forward /5. And so that'll be the link for that. And I can even get myself out of the way probably if I need to. Actually don't know how I can do that though. How do I do that? I guess it doesn't really matter, but yeah, if you just go to if you go to Find Better Trades /5, or in the link, or wherever you see the pop up, just go ahead and click on that. You can join me, and that'll be where I'll be doing the challenge. And so again, yeah, $417 per month. Very simple, very clean, very easy to see that. So if you guys have any questions, like I said, if you guys have any questions about this as well, go ahead and hit me up. Where can I put myself? Let's just put myself right there for now. How's that look? Perfect. All right. So yeah, like I said, look at this chart. So 417, this is really all we need every single month. And that's just the power of compounding, right? Is this, this doesn't seem very difficult, but look at the money just going up, right? Just continues to go up. I think our image kind of got cut off here, but it would be up here. And just over time, you could see the power of just, compounding. And again, not every single month could even, maybe this month will be down 200, but then we say we're up 600 here. So then we're right back on track. And then we're up 400 here. And then maybe we're down 100. And then maybe you're up, 1,000, right? So it's not going to be a fully consistent 417, but I'll try to get, as soon as I get there, that we'll start to maybe turn the more conservative at that point. Let's delete this. So yeah, I priced this challenge for 17 on purpose. So you're not paying for a pile of tools. You're joining me while I work towards the exact same monthly goal. So I'm not asking you to outperform me. I'm not asking you to swing home runs. I'm saying follow the same 5-star standard, track the same trades, and watch how consistently stack. So if the account makes zero progress, you're going to know quickly. If trades don't line up, you'll see the inactivity. And if the process doesn't hold up, there is nowhere for it to hide. So, but if it does what it's built to do, then the math takes care of itself. So 1 solid month pays for the account. If you start with 5K account, the rest of the year is just execution. So when you're aiming for $417, instead of forcing big wins, your trade is clear, you wait more, and you pass more setups. And that's the irony, is when you lower the noise, results tend to stack more consistently. Join me at the same level that I'm playing. And okay, as I promised, here is the trade that I'm watching. So this is the actual trade. Here's the ticker. Ticker over here is XLK. And look at this thing. Look at it converging up. So it is converging into the X pattern. It's actually looking very promising. So there is minimal ups. There's a nice upside target of around 149. And so if anybody joined me late and missed my beginning part of talking about the X pattern, essentially X pattern is a triangle convergence. So I just kind of fancied it up and called it an X pattern because I think it's cool. But right here, so what we want to do, it did break out once here, but it never really had a confirmation. What I like to do is wait for another candle to confirm this down here. It really never did. It just kind of went up. So we're kind of still in the X pattern here. I think that we could possibly maybe have one more move up or down, And if we get a confirmation candle, right, up or down, big strong volume candle, big momentum candle, either up or down, that's kind of the move that we'll make. If we go down, we'll probably target the 139 area. If we go up, we have a big strong upward. We'll probably hit the 149 and hit resistance, right? So that's the idea. So this is why I wanted to show you this now. So if I do take this trade, you guys will get it. So if I do this now, you'll actually get it. So you actually be able to get that trade. So yeah, so this is the ticker again, and XLK. This is I can even put this on the. Let's actually look at it. So this is the live chart right here of it. And you see it's actually coming back in. So this is the tech sector. This is the tech sector of this doesn't really move a lot. That's only 12% right there, the big swings. But this could be a really strong trade. I think this could be a really strong trade. I think we just need to see some bigger volume. We can even turn on volume as well. But we're starting to see a little bit of volume coming in here. But I think this could be a really strong X pattern trade. It's just we need to have more. We're at the 2 steps. We just need the strong momentum to the upside. So, all right, well, that's trade. And like I said, if you guys want that trade, if you want that trade with me, if you want to trade it with me, I will be most likely placing that inside the challenge when we get there. If we get there. And so you can join me there in the link. I just shared that again in the chat. So join me in there. I would love to see you inside the challenge this year. And I think we're gonna absolutely just crush it this year with this system. So let's go through some of these because I don't think they're. But yeah, so yeah, 417 to get in, 1 month to see how it works, and the rest of the year, just let that thing compound. So if you want to join now, go ahead and see it in the chat. So there is also before you leave or anything like that, there's a 90-day guarantee. So 90 days to try this thing out. 3 full months trade alongside me. At the end of the 3 months, if you had no success, literally 0 success at all, you will get your money back. You'll get your full investment back. And that is, just message me. We'll do a one-on-one. We'll do a call. We'll do live calls. If it still isn't working out, go ahead and you get that refund. So I think 3 months personally will be, I'll be way over my goal in the account. So I highly doubt this will ever happen. So I really believe that. So that is the 5-star challenge. So go ahead and click in the link in the chat now. So any questions? If you have a question, here's a couple common ones. I'll be trading stocks, ETFs, options, debit spreads, and crypto. I will not be doing Forex or futures. This isn't a Forex or futures alert service. These will be mainly just stocks, ETFs, options, and crypto. Is this signal room with constant alerts? No, trades are only posted whenever they earn the 5-star. How often are trades posted? Well, whenever there isn't a fixed schedule. There's just whenever there is when there's actual trades ready. That's whenever we get in. Are there live sessions or Q&A calls? Yes, there is. I'll be doing a lot of those as well. Review recent trades, talk through decisions, things like that. So pretty cool. Is there a community? Yes, there's a community. Trades are posted, context is shares, and the focus environment built around the challenge, not a noisy chat room. Nobody likes a noisy chat room. Is this a one-time offer? Yes, this is one-time payment, and you get it for life. And lifetime access, you get access to the actual group, and then obviously the scanners as well. What happens at the end of December? You retain access to everything, and you get the scanners. So win-win-win all around. Beginner friendly, I would say this could be a beginner friendly. If you understand basic chart and executions, I think this could really go well for you. But yeah, so that is it. That's all the questions. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. So if you have any other questions for me, you can let me know. But yeah, other than that, that's the 5-star challenge. And if you joined today, welcome. I would appreciate to see you guys in there.